So it's AEP time again, and this episode we're going to talk about the do's and don'ts, kind of what you need to do to get prepared. So let's just jump right in it. Remember, if you are doing a face-to-face presentation, do you have to record it?
No.
No.
The new TPO MO recording rule, I think all the carriers have aligned around the fact that it does not apply if you were face-to-face.
What about the disclaimer?
They want you to say, I don't represent every plan in this market.
No matter what?
Unless you do represent every plan in the market. And last week, one of the carriers came back and said, if you do represent all the plans in the market, you don't have to say it, which was a beautiful evolution of thought that actually made logical sense. It's just easier to say. Now, I have a lot of people that say, look, I represent 60 plus companies, and this disclaimer makes me look stupid.
Right.
It kind of steps on my sale, especially when you have to say it in the first minute.
I agree.
So I said, well, why don't you tell them this? Say, the government makes me say this. I don't represent every plan in the market. To represent every plan that's available to you, call 1-800-MEDICARE, go to www.medicare.gov. But I do want you to know that this disclaimer was meant for people that are captive agents that only worked for X insurance company. And they can only sell X insurance company. Or a little small agency down the street that only has 3 companies.
Right.
So I'm like Walmart. I represent 60 companies or 35 companies. All the large national carriers that you've ever heard of, and some small regional carriers. But there's carriers that I don't represent. There's typically a good reason why I don't represent them. Feel free to ask me why. And then you could even give them a list. Here's all the companies I do represent. Because I think the disclaimer kind of makes you sound like,
right.
Hey, I don't do a good job. Call the government.
Right.
If you want somebody competent.
I don't know what I'm doing.
Right. So
I like that. The government makes me do this.
The government makes me say this. It's the same thing when you buy a Medicare supplement. You're turning 65, you're guaranteed issue. They can't check your health records. They can't make you pee in a cup. Nothing. Here, sign this, giving them authority to check your medical records. Mm-hmm. We've been doing this for years, and we never said, this is ridiculous.
Right.
We just said, yeah, we got to sign it.
Be done.
Right. But you have to give me authority to check your records, even though legally I can't check your records. That's the government. That's the beauty of the government.
That's the beauty of the government. Okay, remember, October 1st, you can talk benefits.
Right. Make sure you don't jump the gun even one day. Don't put it on your website even by one day.
Don't try to cheat and think you won't get caught. It's not worth jeopardizing your license.
In the olden days, we used to have people that would give out lots of applications October 1st.
Especially if a carrier was leaving that market and they had a ton to write.
They would give them all out. And they would say, you can fill it out and mail it back to me on October 15th, which is legal. Mm-hmm. But those people would mail it directly to the carrier. The agent hadn't signed it, or the agent had signed it, which made it illegal. Don't do that. Don't do that. There were some carriers that really encouraged that behavior. I think everybody's
calmed down.
I think the way the carriers stopped that, they won't give you any supplies.
Right.
They try to.
That's the truth.
They try to keep you so you don't have the ability to hurt yourself.
The temptation. And one thing we've noticed a lot is customer procrastination. Every year, more and more customers are waiting because they're used to it. They're used to the kickoff of AEP, all the commercials, all the mail. They know they have X amount of weeks, so they're putting it off.
A lot of people still have fatigue from last year. Didn't we just go through with this?
And that's bad for the agent.
Right. So when we look at historical sales from the first month of AEP versus last year, it keeps slowing down every year. And more people are like, I got time.
The customers are.
The customers, I got time.
Yep.
And that's really dangerous because we don't know what weather's around the corner. But look at Puerto Rico's completely without power.
Again.
What are the other states that are super flooded right now? It's crazy.
Alaska.
Yeah, Alaska. We both lived in Alaska. Then what if the flu is really bad this season?
Right.
What if COVID? All these things, and then it's going to be crazy for you to try to get a hold of them.
Right.
Or you might be the one with bad weather or sick. So you really want to try to get to your clients and not chill out. You want to go hard when AEP starts.
Plus, it eliminates the temptation or your clients getting calls from somebody else.
They're going to be bombarded.
All those commercials.
Nonstop. TV, radio, billboards, print, nonstop. People trying to go after your clients. And they're all going after them in what I consider kind of an underhanded way. Call to see if you qualify for $250. New Medicare benefit approved. New Medicare stimulus approved that will pay for your rent and utilities.
Right.
So that looks really attractive to people. You got to get to them beforehand and let them know that's not quite what's going on.
But nonetheless, happy AEP. Give us a call if you need any help. We're here for you.
Nonetheless, have a blast.
Have a blast with this. Okay, so now let's talk about a brand new drug that I'm hearing a lot about. And
There's actually like 3.
pertains.
But the ones I'm hearing the most commonly about is this
Munjaro.
Munjaro. It's a weight loss drug.
Yeah, very popular.
Made in our home state of Indiana by our largest
Shop
employer, Lilly.
Thank you, Lily.
Which has great results in weight loss.
Yeah, we're hearing that on average, we're seeing about a 20% weight reduction when they compare that to placebos, and people are going, they want this stuff.
Everybody's calling about this drug.
They want it.
As of right now, Medicare doesn't approve this drug. Who knows where that's going? But stay tuned.
Well, and what are we hearing about the cost?
About $1,500 a month.
That might be why it's
That
not.
might be why it's not approved yet.
So-
Plus, they were calling it a vanity drug. So that was the thing. Even though Medicare does pay for gastric sleeve, gastric bypass, Medicare does pay for a lot of obesity. But yeah, this is developing. I got a feeling they're going to pay for these drugs. You know what we need to talk about is Medicare Part B.
I love Medicare Part B.
Because last year it went up a ridiculous amount.
Okay. Yeah, I think it went up about 14.6%.
So it was unprecedented.
Yeah.
It was insane. People were furious. It went from $148 to $170 a month, the standard. So people were upset. And then the Health and Human Services Secretary, Manuel Becerra, I like to say that. I studied Spanish. Give me a break, Manuel Becerra. He said that they were going to look at lowering it. Well, they looked at it and then they said, yeah, we're not going to do anything. But they teased everybody and they said, we'll pass along the savings because we charged you too much this year. We probably charged you twice what we should have. We'll pass that along, and for Part B in 2023, it'll probably be flat, which I consider that a tease.
So flat meaning no rate
No
adjustment.
raise. So everyone's like, hey, they're not going to raise
Right.
Part B next year. You don't know what's going to go on. All you do know is that they are not going to announce it until when?
Later,
After the
open enrollment.
no
After the election.
Election. They're going to announce after the election. It was too late. And there's no way it's going to be flat because it's tied to Part B usage.
Flat's that's a great term.
And
it's like historical.
yeah, I know. It's like I said, it's
like
a big
that word,
tease.
flat.
If they do it and I'm wrong, I would love to be wrong because it was wrong what they did to the American people. But Part B is based on how much people use Part B. So people didn't use Part B for 2 years because they were not getting treatments.
Right.
So that surged.
Right. Yep.
And the Part B drugs, which are outrageously expensive and keep skyrocketing. So if it's flat, I would be namaste, congratulations. Too hot in here.
I think I'm having a hot
But
flash.
that's the number one question everybody is going to ask you during AEP. Hey, what's my Part B going to be next year?
Find out after the election.
And you're not going to know. They're not going to tell you until November. And historically, they don't tell us until November anyway. But they're like, I heard it's not going up. Yeah, we all heard that. It's probably going to go up.
Gotta wait and see.
It's probably going to go up a little bit.
Yep.
Social Security, on the other hand, is definitely going up.
Yeah, I'm hearing that could be going up about 8.6%.
Yeah, so that's tied to inflation for July, August, and September. September is just ending. They're going to announce that October 13th. That's the good news because inflation is historically high.
Right.
Their cost of living increase will be historically high. So it's at first this summer they said it's going to be 10%, and they said 9.6. Then 2 weeks ago they factored that down to like 8 point something. But that will be announced before the
election.
So those are 2 questions everybody wants to know when you start talking to your AEP clients. What's my Social Security COLA going to be? What's my Part B going to be?
And can I get Munjaro?
Can I get this weight loss drug? Happy selling. See you next week.